Hey guys, this is Hillbilly Talk with Shane Simmons coming back at you again. Had a lot of folks requesting an update on the situation regarding Hurricane Helene, so I wanted to provide what I know about that situation. And I decided to name this after a good old Clint Eastwood movie. It's called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'll kind of explain why I chose that here, and it'll be self-evident in a minute. But some of the good things that have happened, I'm finally able to report that we're making a lot of headway here. There's been a lot of progress getting to a lot of these back roads. They've got good systems in place. They figured out what works, what doesn't work, what's the most effective, what's the most efficient. And it's been a major, just in the last 48 hours since my last video, there's been so many breakthroughs and much more structure to this process to the point where you can finally see light at the end of the tunnel. Now, it's a heck of a long tunnel, but you can still feel like progress is being made, and I think that that's cooled some of this temperature down here, thankfully. You're seeing actually some good results. It is recovery instead of rescue at this point for the most part. I think most of the folks who's going to be reached who needed dire help have been contacted and assisted in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So that's where we're at. Of course, recovery of the deceased will take a good portion of time, unfortunately. Another thing that's good has been just these folks who are just pushing themselves way past natural limits selflessly to try and help. Everybody here is going without sleep, going without taking care of their own needs. It's just been a true community/regional effort. But it's amazing to see what some people can do. I mean, you think a human limit is here, and then they pushed it to here. They have really shown up and assisted their fellow man and woman, and it's just been a sight to behold, and really is a tribute to humanity, to Appalachian pride and spirit, to American pride and spirit. It's been just a wonderful thing to see and experience, and to have confidence in the fact that a lot of people will show up for you in your hour of need. It's been amazing, honestly. And another person that deserves, or people that deserve a lot of credit, is the National Guard. They've shown up, and man, they have really made it happen. And I think they provided what was needed before, which is a chain of command, a clear chain of command. They got structure, they're disciplined, and so they've got these processes in place, and so they're making a lot of headway. And I think to some degree, a lot of these other organizations are emulating what they do, and that's why so much progress is being made. And it's a shame they didn't get here earlier than they did, but we're grateful and thankful to have them now, and man, they are really going to town. God bless the folks in the National Guard who have left their families and homes to come out here to help. And again, another selfless and really making a huge difference that, frankly, we'd be in bad shape still were it not for the National Guard. So my hat's off to you big time. So thank you so much. The bad. Here's a word that, people keep asking me, and I saw this in some of the comments, were, what should people be doing differently? And, what do you expect from Biden, Harris, Trump, whoever? And the thing that is so bad and has set people off so much here has been the optics of this thing. It's not so much what could Joe Biden or them do necessarily, other than provide money, which is huge, and the National Guard, but it just looks bad. Did you think back to, let's go back to 2005, I guess it was, when Katrina happened. Does anybody remember when George W. Bush got hammered? And it was very sobering when Kanye West made that claim on television, George Bush doesn't care about black people. Well, that was just like, you talk about a viral moment. That was before YouTube was even a big thing. But that was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody saw it. And it was just a sobering, but it was a wake-up call, too. It's like things started happening, because let's be honest, George W. Bush fumbled the bag on that one hugely to begin with, and it was just, and that picture, oh my God, that picture he took from his plane overlooking flying over it, looking down, looking sad, like, poor old people. It was just summed up the bad optics of, looks like you're looking down on people, and I'm above this, but boy, I hate that for you. Anyway, let's get back to D.C. It's a bad look. In fact, it really damaged his reputation, especially after he had built it up such a huge positive thing after September 11th. He stepped up with the bullhorn talking and so forth after that Twin Towers went down, and he really elevated the country and himself. But then when this Katrina thing was a bad look for him, Was his heart in the right place? Who knows? It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's the optics. People see that and they think you don't care. It doesn't matter. He could, and afterwards he showed up there and he did a lot of things to try and help the situation better, but nobody cared at that point. It's too late. It's too late to do damage control. And that's what I feel like's going on here too. Like, I mean, how in the world? I'm sure most of you have seen this clip too. Joe Biden was asked a question about the storms and he didn't even know. He questioned, what storm? Joe Biden, I give him a little of a pass because this guy probably doesn't know his own name half the time. I'm sure he doesn't even know what he had for breakfast this morning. So, okay. But that's a terrible look when you're out here stranded, desperate, looking for leadership. We all want something to believe in. We want somebody to believe in. And when you're looking at somebody who doesn't even know what storm you're talking about, that doesn't provide a lot of confidence for anybody. I mean, and then you hear Alejandro Mayorkas, on behalf of the FEMA, talking about how they're going to run out of money. Okay, that's not what you want to hear. And then Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, I mean, he was like, no reason for Congress to reconvene. It's just like, what are you talking about? That's not the answer. That is not the answer. He's trying to give this big explanation about why the funds, they're going to have to do damage, to calculate the damages and all this, and it'll take time. Nobody wants to hear that. What we want to hear is, we'll do what we got to do. We're going to make this thing. This is our fellow Americans. If we got to meet back midnight tonight, we're going to do it. We're going to take care and make sure that everybody knows that we're going to get you the help that you need. That's what we want to hear. Not some idiot talking about, blah, blah, blah. He may be technically right, but the optics are terrible, and he's getting savaged for it, and rightfully so. It's a dumb, dumb, dumb answer. You do not say that. Absolutely don't. And Kamala Harris, she comes, visits North Carolina and Georgia. Okay, well, how convenient you skipped the other states that were hit. Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina. You just so happen to go to swing states. Wasn't that funny? You show up in North Carolina trying to score points, you show up in Georgia and try to, I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. Any fool with a functional brain could see, hey, this is terrible. Does not look good. I mean, do you not care about Virginia? Do you not care about Tennessee? Do you not care about South Carolina? I mean, it's just horrible optics as usual. Just stupid. I don't know, man. I can't even. Okay, enough about those two subjects. Finally, the ugly. Well, the comments on the last video were incredibly ugly. There's some stupid people out there. You probably don't know. You probably already know this. I hope you do. If you don't, you may be one of them. But man, some of those comments are just absolutely ludicrous on my last video. I haven't read probably, 10% of them, maybe 20%. And I had to stop. I just don't have time, unfortunately, for one thing. But for another, just some of the stuff was just so mind-bogglingly stupid that I can't even acknowledge it. Somebody trying to act like that this tragic event was the result of the Civil War and is part of the Underground Railroad payback or something. I'm like, what are you talking? How dumb? Or if you believe in God and you think God's paying, he's the slowest person to pay you back in history. It was 160 years ago that all this is happening, and you're sitting here trying to act like that God's paying us back for something. I mean, just get out of here with your stupid self. Why bother? I can't imagine how idiotic you have to be to sit there and type out a big long answer like this over a video. What are you trying to do with that? What are you trying to achieve? So, I don't know, man. Oh, I don't know. Well, another ugly is the recovery efforts is going to take for years. This is years and years it's going to take us to recover from this. I mean, we've seen the flooding in Letcher County, Kentucky. We've seen the flooding in Hurley, Virginia. And they'll never be the same. But they're even to get to some semblance of normalcy takes years. They're not even close to being there now, and that's been a couple years ago, much less something so much larger scale of devastation. So that sad reality is set in. It's just some of our favorite places. I mean, me and Melody went to some of these Hot Springs, North Carolina is one of our favorite places to go. Trade, Tennessee. We just went there the week before, less than a week before we went to Trade Days down there and the powwow. And it was just to think that some of the places we've had some of our happiest memories will never be the same is just gut-wrenching. And we still appreciate the prayers and the donations and anything else you can do to help this area, because this is just so life-changing forever for us. And I don't know, it's still hard to accept. I think that acceptance is coming out. I talked in the last video about anger. Well, I guess we're getting to that other stage of grief of acceptance, but man, it's rough. And last of all, the last ugly is Hurricane Milton. Man, our prayers are with you folks in Florida. I mean, it sounds like this may be even worse than what we dealt with. So God bless you. We're praying for you as we dig our own themselves out. It's been just something to keep our eye on this, and to see that that's Category 5 is like, please get out of the line of this storm. Take this stuff serious, because just in a flash, everything you have could be gone, including your life. So we're praying for you. Thank you guys who are praying and encouraging us. And I'll pray for some of you folks out here that need to get your heart in the right place. I don't know. Anyway, I'll talk at you next time.